This video is brought to you by WeGotSoccer.com, offering all the latest soccer gear at everyday low prices. Don't forget to use coupon code SR4U at checkout for 10% off any order, plus free shipping within the US on any order of $75 or more.
Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you a comparison video between the Nike Tiempo Legend 4 and the Nike CTR360 Maestri 3. These are two shoes that are very different from each other in terms of design, but in terms of the overall feel that they have to offer, they actually perform very, very similarly, which can make it a little bit difficult to choose between one or the other, a decision that I know a lot of you guys are trying to make before the upcoming soccer season. So hopefully in this video I can clarify what the major differences are, allowing you to make that decision a little bit more easily. And if you guys could leave a like on the video as well, it would be greatly appreciated. If we start off with the uppers on both of these two shoes, we'll take the Legend 4 first. This is Nike's modern take on a classic soccer shoe. So the upper is a combination of natural kangaroo leather and Kangolite synthetic. The kangaroo leather takes up the entire forefoot and toe box area of the boot. Very high quality, incredibly soft, has a good thickness to it, and if you've ever used a high quality kangaroo leather soccer shoe, you know what kind of touch you're going to get from this particular model. Very soft touch on the ball, very natural, and just feels great. Another benefit to having kangaroo leather in the forefoot area is that it will mold to your foot, stretch to your feet, and is a better option overall if you do have slightly wider feet if you are comparing the Maestri and the Legend. The midfoot and back is made out of Kangolite synthetic, as well as the tongue. Kangolite is Nike's synthetic material designed to mimic the feel of natural kangaroo leather, and of course it's not perfect, but it is very, very good, and it does have its benefits. But what's most important here is that it flows very well with the natural kangaroo leather, so your touch on the ball across the entire upper is very uniform. Definitely a good thing. Another benefit to having Kangolite through the midfoot and back half of the shoe is that it's not going to overstretch because it is a synthetic, which can be an issue if you did have a shoe that was full kangaroo leather, because the shoe will stretch over time, as you'll see in the forefoot area of the boot. Central lacing system, as you guys can see, very traditional. Memory foam insert in the Kangolite tongue as well. And of course the newer models of the Legend do feature ACC all conditions control. Just a minor addition to the already great Legend 4. Allows for a little bit better friction between your foot and the ball when playing in wet conditions. Doesn't alter your touch on the ball all that much, but is something that is noticeable, and it's a good addition to an already great soccer shoe. If we move on to the the Maestri 3, this is a shoe that is designed around control. And while I'm not a firm believer in control boots and speed boots and power boots, I don't think that a soccer shoe has the ability to enhance your skills. You can see that Nike has designed the shoe around offering a very clean touch on the ball, which is why you see the laces being pushed to the instep as opposed to running through the middle or down the outside of the shoe. So you have very clean kind of elements here going across. There's really nothing interfering with your touch on the ball other than these little rubber elements going across the instep, as you guys can see, that act as like a passing pad. So the upper itself on this shoe is designed out of full Kangolite synthetic, and it is a little bit softer. It's a newer version of Kangolite than what we see on the Legend 4, so it is a little bit softer, very, very high quality. You can see even when I just push it in with my hand, it doesn't react like a synthetic material. It reacts almost like a leather. Very soft, very flexible. It's not going to overstretch, and the benefits of a synthetic, it's a little bit more lightweight. It's not going to absorb as much water, and for that reason, it's going to dry a lot quicker as well. So very clean touch on the ball. Very similar to what you're going to get from the kangaroo leather. I wouldn't say it's as padded. I'd say it's a little bit more thin, but still very, very good. Has that nice cushion feel. And I'm a big fan of both of these shoes in terms of the touch that they have to provide. And what's great is that the entire upper is made from the same material. So again, you're getting a very uniform touch across the entire upper of the boot. This little kind of rubber element you have going across the midfoot here, it's the pass pad. It really doesn't do all that much, to be honest. It adds a little bit more grip on the ball, but other than that, I wouldn't say that it's a huge has a huge impact on the overall way that the shoe feels. So don't worry about it too much. Just adds a little bit more grip and nothing more than that. And then of course you do have your laces running through the instep as opposed to through the middle to the outside. Doesn't do much either. You do have a memory foam insert in the tongue again. And really, I'm actually a big fan of that. It provides some good comfort and kind of moves the laces away from any kind of pressure points on the top of the foot. So that's definitely a good thing. And then, of course, this shoe also incorporates ACC, all conditions control technology. Again, wet control element allows for a little bit better friction between your foot and the ball when playing in wet conditions. But that's pretty much it as far as the uppers of the shoes goes. And to move on to a quick comparison of the stud patterns. The stud patterns used on the Legend and the Maestri may appear to be very different, but again, the performance is actually very, very similar. If we start off with the Legend, you're going to see that the shoe features a TPU plastic sole plate, very flexible and suits this style of shoe really, really well. The stud pattern itself is a classic Legend stud pattern with some minor tweaks. You have your 4 bladed studs here in the heel, your 8 conical studs running along the outside of the forefoot, and then your 2 bladed studs in the middle. The small tweaks come in the form of these 2 kind of oval shaped studs on the outside. Again, they perform no differently than your standard conical stud. You have these little protruding pieces coming in the front 4 studs, and that's there to allow for a little bit easier ground penetration because it does have a smaller surface area. But again, the difference that you can feel is very, very minimal. And then of course you have these little spikes placed on the sole plate at the tip of the toe and the back of the heel. And that's kind of like a last resort traction system. Honestly, I couldn't tell you if it makes a difference at all. It's very difficult to judge whether or not that works, but it's cool that Nike has included it on the stud pattern itself. As far as how it performs, you have a really solid amount of grip when pushing off, but still plenty of maneuverability once your foot is planted in the forefoot area, something that I can really appreciate. I'm a big fan of conical stud patterns, and this is one of the better ones currently out there on the market, in my opinion. One of my personal favorite stud patterns to use. We move on to the Maestri 3. This does not feature your standard TPU sole plate. It features a slightly stiffer, more low-profile plastic, as you guys can see. It's a lot stiffer, a lot more responsive, and just like a more modern style sole plate that we are seeing from Nike nowadays really does perform well, and because it is so stiff, it allows it to be a little bit more low profile, keeping you as low to the ground as possible. Again, one of my personal favorite stud pattern sole plate combos currently on the market. As far as the stud pattern itself goes, you're going to see a common theme through the whole thing. The studs on the outside are bladed, as you guys can see, and the studs on the inside are kind of like these half circle shapes, where the rounded side is always facing the outside of the shoe, and the flat side or slightly kind of concave side is facing the inside of the shoe, and that goes in the forefoot as well as in the heel. I realize the heel ones might be a little bit difficult to see because they are clear, but you can see they're rounded there and then kind of completely bladed on the outside, and that's there running with the concept that a conical stud releases from the ground a little bit more quickly. So when you do plant your foot, you're going to get that grip from the bladed side, and then when you release from the ground, the conical stud's going to release a lot more quickly. So does that actually make a difference in terms of feel? Honestly, not all that much. These penetrate the ground a little bit more easily than what you're going to get from the Legend because they are slightly smaller. But in terms of the overall performance, you're not getting too much more grip at push-off, and I would say that you don't get as much maneuverability once your foot is planted. Again, very similar layout, 4 studs in the heel, 4 studs running around along the outside, 4 studs running along the inside, and your 2 bladed support studs in the middle. So that's pretty much it as far as the comparison of the stud patterns go. Very similar in terms of performance. If I had to pick one over the other, maybe the Legend, maybe the CTR360. Again, I really don't have a preference here. They both perform great. Some of my personal favorite stud patterns to use. And we'll move on to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight these shoes actually are. The difference in weight between the Legend and the Maestri is actually very minimal. Both in hand and on feet, they feel about the same, and considering the solid construction of both of these two models, they feel a lot lighter than you might expect. So I'm going to weigh both of these two shoes for you in real time, just for the sake of comparison. So we'll throw the Legend 4 on the scale first, and you can see that it weighs in at 9.2 ounces, so relatively lightweight for a shoe of this style. We'll take it off the scale and throw on the Maestri 3, and you can see that it weighs in a little bit less at 8.6 ounces, so a 0.6 ounce difference between the two. Honestly, that's not all that much, and not a noticeable amount of weight either in hand or on feet, so just keep that in mind. So weight really shouldn't be a factor when you're choosing between the Maestri or the Legend. That's pretty much it as far as the weigh-in portion of this video goes, and I'll move on to a quick on feet so you can get an idea of how each of these models fit. Alright, here's a look at the Maestri 3 and the Legend 4 on feet. And as far as which one is more comfortable, I honestly couldn't pick one over the other. They're both very, very comfortable shoes. They feature very soft, flexible uppers. They both have suede heel liners. The fit is great on both of them. I would say that the Maestri 3 is more ready to wear from right out of the box because it is a full synthetic, whereas the natural kangaroo leather on the Legend does require a little bit of break-in time to stretch and soften up a little bit more. But again, once you've broken in both of these shoes, they're extremely comfortable to wear. As far as the fit goes, they both fit really, really well. In terms of width, if you do have wider feet, I would recommend going for the Legend over the Maestri, simply because you will have that little bit of extra stretch in the upper. But keep in mind that neither of these two shoes are overly wide in terms of how they fit, and that goes all the way through the midfoot, forefoot, and toe box. You will have that little bit of expansion in the Legend, like I said, because it is natural leather, whereas the Maestri kind of fits the same way from right out of the box as it will after break-in time. The synthetic is soft, so it will stretch maybe just a little bit, but for the most part, it's not going to stretch that much at all. As far as sizing goes, that's where it can get a little bit tricky with both of these two shoes. I'm wearing a size 9 in the Legend right now, and a size 9.5 in the Maestri. The Maestri, I feel, does run half a size small, so I definitely recommend going a half size up no matter what. Whereas the Legend 4 does have a tighter fit when you do go true to size from right out of the box. This pair has stretch and mold to my foot at this point, so I have no issues with it. And if you do like a tighter fit, I would recommend going true to size. But if you don't like it to fit overly snug, then you could go half a size up in the Legend as well, just like you can in the Maestri. Well, that's pretty much it as far as the on-feet portion of this video goes, and we'll move on to my final thoughts. Alright guys, that's it for my comparison between the Maestri 3 and the Legend 4. If I had to pick a favorite of the two, I guess it would be the Maestri, but honestly I'd be very happy wearing either of these two shoes. I did pick the Maestri 3 as my top pick of 2012. So again, this is probably my favorite of the two, but I'd be very happy wearing either of these two models. Hopefully I clarified the major differences in this video, but if you would like more details as far as how these shoes fit, feel, and perform, I strongly recommend going ahead and checking out the full reviews for both of these two shoes, which you can find linked down below in the description. On those review pages, not only are you going to find the full reviews, you're also going to find high quality images of both of these pairs to give you a better idea as how they actually do look in person, as well as buy it now links with the best prices online, including some exclusive SR4U coupon codes. If you do have any questions regarding either of these two models, feel free to leave a question down below. And if you could leave a like on the video as well, it would be greatly appreciated. If you did enjoy today's video and you're not subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button for daily videos on all the latest soccer gear. Any questions you guys have not related to the video, go ahead and ask that on the SR4U Facebook fan page. Again, you can find the link in the description to that. And also, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram account name is VujoJosh. Just like this channel name, you can go ahead and look me up. Or again, the link can be found down below in the description. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.